My name is Bil Kirmani, and I am a cardiac surgeon. If you're currently on the BJS Academy website watching this video or reading the transcript on why I became a cardiac surgeon, there's a good chance that you're curious as to whether you too should be a cardiac surgeon. If that deductive reasoning is about right, carry on watching because I hope this will help. And if you're thinking, well, actually that's not deductive reasoning because the semantic logic isn't upheld, then you have exactly the kind of attention to detail that a cardiac surgeon should possess. And I certainly hope you'd at least consider joining us. Cardiac surgery is a relatively new specialty. As recently as 1896, many subscribed to the belief of the great Viennese surgeon Theodor Billroth that whoever attempted to operate on the heart would fail. It was simply thought impossible. The heart was sacred in a way that, say, the brain was not. And while, for example, neurosurgery is another surgical specialty that is often fawned over, good marketing, surgeons of antiquity for thousands of years had no qualms about drilling a hole in the head to see if that would do something useful. It appealed to me that cardiac surgery still holds some of that lingering mysticism and romanticism from last century. Poets, philosophers, and cultures across the globe have been drawn to the muscular sac that is the heart far more than they are to the muscular sac that is the bladder. Blood is thicker than water after all. This completely unwarranted human affinity to the heart is still part of the draw for me 2 decades on from when I first looked down at a beating human heart. In telling you of the personal journey that brought me to this career, I hope that it may enable you to consider this path too. If the idea of you sitting in my position at some point in your future, introducing yourself as a cardiac surgeon seems far-fetched, let me assure you that it is not. Your imposter syndrome is misplaced, and I believe that the skills to become a cardiac surgeon must be learned and are neither innate nor inherited. Cardiac surgery has benefited from an exceptionally effective, though unintentional marketing campaign, predicated partly by the historical echoes of Billroth's fallacy. That is to say, we're all still a bit stunned that we can do this. Taking over the work of the human heart and lungs and briefly chilling the entire body so as to arrest the circulation still seems outlandish. Still seems like we shouldn't be able to do it, and it seems wondrous that we can. But I'd argue no more so than letting someone play the violin with their brain exposed, or lacing somebody's face, or treating someone's bowel cancer with little more than a knife and sutures. I do truly believe that if you have the capacity to be a surgeon, you have the capacity to be a cardiac surgeon. There are a few things that are often said when we explain our interest in a particular medical specialty. In reality, most of these apply to almost all of the other specialties, and surgical specialties are probably more similar than most. There is an enticing variety of skills that you can exercise in most of these areas, and the procedural elements, of course, make up a large proportion of the job satisfaction. The ability to do something with your hands that can have an immediate and lasting impact on a patient's length and quality of life is exceptionally rewarding. Having to marry those skills with diagnostic acumen, multidisciplinary team working, and fine motor skills, decisiveness in situations that can literally change in a heartbeat. None of these is really unique to cardiac surgery. Any surgical specialty requires incisiveness. So for me, like a number of the other surgeons who've contributed to these BJS Academy talks, there was a degree of circumstance and serendipity that led to my career path. Had my best friend from school not been the son of the renowned clinical scientist, Professor Mark Monahan, MBE, I wouldn't have first stepped into a cardiac operating theatre at the age of 16. I had no idea then, or even through medical school, that I would one day be on the other side of the drapes. It was as a foundation doctor some 9 years later that I attended the organ harvest from a patient who had generously donated their organs to help others. I don't remember the name of the surgeon who came to put the patient onto cardiopulmonary bypass and take the heart and lung block, but I remember that they spoke kindly to me and told me what they were doing. And as it is with so many other careers, it was those human interactions, rather than any compelling attraction to organ anatomy or physiology, that guided me to heart surgery. A few more judicious placements with influential and welcoming cardiac influencers sent me on the path and then became my vocation. Had the various consultants and registrars who fostered my interests and taken me into the fold not given me belief in my abilities, I probably would never have considered cardiac surgery, or even known what I'd missed if I'd gone down another career path. But as it is, I get to enjoy the rich tapestry of challenges that cardiac surgery brings, interpreting complex imaging and diagnostic tests in conjunction with a heart team. deliberating over fluid dynamics, physics and pharmacology in the intensive care unit, and engaging with patients on a deeply personal level in the clinic. These are, again, not unique to heart surgery, but the milieu of challenges and rewards in the specialty is truly enticing. In addition, cardiac surgery is a specialty of opportunity. There are currently only 270 or so of us in the country, so it falls to each of us to ensure we contribute to the research, politics, innovation, and education needed to sustain the work. Most cardiac surgeons have roles and responsibilities beyond their day job that give them national profile and offer lots of opportunity to develop holistically. Finally, I'd like to talk about the things that often put people off the idea of cardiac surgery: the personalities and the workload. There's an old joke that goes, what is the difference between God and a cardiac surgeon? God doesn't think they're a cardiac surgeon. It typifies a stereotype that is commonly held of the specialty, but I've been fortunate to work with countless surgeons across the UK, Europe, and internationally who've been both brilliant and humble. The idea that you need to have a certain type of personality to succeed, what used to be called the alpha male by way of excuse in the day, but has since been recognised as a toxic and arrogant affectation, is no longer the case. By way of example, my partner is also a busy surgeon, and one, in fact, whose stellar career trajectory happily eclipses my own. And that means that we share childcare through the week and get to both draw down on being parents in surgery. While everyone's circumstances are, of course, different, I'm proud of the fact that with my family, I can showcase that a career in cardiac surgery can be associated with a very healthy work-life balance and responsibilities that extend outside the workplace. So that's a short explanation of why I became a cardiac surgeon, because it's a rewarding, fast-paced surgical specialty where you can change the length and quality of a person's life, because there's no feeling like holding a human heart, because you have to master fine surgical skills, but also physiology, pharmacology, intensive care medicine, and myriad other arts. But mostly I became a cardiac surgeon because every cardiac surgeon I met on the way inspired and encouraged me, as I hope I have for you.